Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com, and in this video we're looking at a new watch from Bulova with their Oceanographer GMT. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as an authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive on this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end, but also throughout this video, if you have further questions or are looking to buy the watch, check out the link in the description down below to the product page. But guys, without further ado, let's jump into the video and take a closer look at this watch. Founded in New York back in 1875 by Joseph Bulova, the Bulova Watch Company has in more recent memory followed an industry-wide trend by leaning into relaunching some of its most impactful heritage designs, including the cult classic Devil Diver. Launched in 1972 under the Oceanographer name, the Devil Diver earned its moniker from its printed 666 feet depth rating. With an instantly recognizable dial format, 1970s cushion case shape, vintage examples of this model family have long been popular with collectors, cementing a level of enthusiast appeal that ultimately led Bulova to produce a modern yet faithful recreation of the original starting back in 2018. While there have been a few iterations since then, they have thus far been limited to variations in dial colors and case sizes. But with the Bulova Wilton GMT landing last year, powered by the impressive 9075 caliber, which offers true GMT functionality as it's often known, I for one was wondering, what would the caliber do for maybe the potential of the Bulova collection? Well, they only needed a short period of time, a year later, and here we have a trio of new Bulova Oceanographer GMTs that managed to maintain the heritage format we appreciate from the Devil Divers of old, while nicely integrating this GMT caliber on the inside, coming at a price point just above $1,000. Of the two case sizes currently available within the Devil Diver collection, which are 44mm and 41mm, the Oceanographer GMT opts for the 41mm case. Measuring at that diameter of 41mm and having an abbreviated 45.1mm lug to lug, the Oceanographer GMT is likely to wear well on a vast majority of wrists out there wearing like a true 40. With this being a GMT and also equipped with a more highly domed box section sapphire crystal, the watch does come in relatively thick at 14.6mm. And while that's not exactly slender, the sportier aesthetic and curvaceous case architecture ensures this one is comfortable when strapped on. Depending on your model choice, the 20mm lugs securely hold either a fitted gray rubber strap or a bracelet matching each of the other two case tones, with each also offering quick release spring bars to allow for easy swapping. Focusing first on the Lume Dial Diver, a gray fitted rubber strap complements the dial with a molded woven texture and ornamental stitching, terminating with a color matching stainless steel buckle. Switching gears over to the bracelet variants, the 5-link design utilizes brush center links, with the rest being fully polished for an eye-catching look. Tapering from 20 to 19mm, each bracelet terminates with a fold-over clasp, while also serving up 3 points of micro adjustment within that clasp. Overall, I like this fine link bracelet a lot more than the strap in terms of where I would go for, and with its fine link nature, it does drape to the wrist well and feels as if you're grabbing something right out of Grandpa's watch box. Despite the differences in color, the case finishing follows in a similar fashion across the three models with a fully polished effect. A gray gunmetal IP plating is applied to the Lume Dial variant, while a rose gold hued IP plating adorns the root beer model. At 3 o'clock, a 6mm screw down crown is recessed slightly into the case side for a measure of protection without the extra heft coming from crown guards. Between the screw down crown and the case back, the Devil Diver GMT is rated for 200 meters of water resistance, which is more or less 666 feet. Anchored to the top of the case, a coin edge bezel operates as either a bidirectional 24-click hour bezel for the stainless steel Pepsi and rose gold root beer models, or a unidirectional 60-click diving bezel for the Lume Dial variant. All three utilize a glossy bezel insert that is also equipped with luminescent material. Keeping watch over the dial, a sapphire crystal with a vintage-style profile is coated with several layers of anti-reflective coating, allowing us to take a closer look at the dial underneath. Now, set over a matte finish primary surface, the modern Devil Diver follows its historic predecessor with tall, three-dimensional, and surprisingly translucent acrylic hour indices. Set just within, a printed minute track makes deciphering the time of day a straightforward affair, while also complementing a crosshair motif at center you don't often see on a dive watch. At its center, wide yet stubby hands provide a color complement to each dial variant. The GMT hand lies at the bottom of the stack, executed in a thin arrow style again, with a lume application toward the tip. On the blue dial, dial, the red GMT hand pops. However, on the root beer and the lume dial versions, the GMT hands can get a bit more lost in the color scheme. Dial text is an adaptation of the original models with the Bulova word mark applied at 12 and in a linked letter style, and with the Oceanographer printed just below. At 6, the familiar automatic snorkel and 666 feet are displayed. Now, while a lot is going on with these watches, a point that allows it all to happen and be positioned in this price range is the movement on the inside, the same movement that we saw within the Bulova Wilton GMT back in 2022, the Miyota 9075. Let's be very frank about this. When this movement was unveiled, it did change the game for attainable true GMTs on the market. Now, unlike other Miyota calibers, this movement is going to operate at 4 Hertz, so 8 beats per second rather than 3 Hertz, 6 beats per second. And this movement does operate in the true GMT functionality. I don't want to get into all the details here, and I don't want to get into the semantics of this concept, basically meaning that at that second position, when you pull the crown out, you will be able to isolate the local hour hand both forward and backwards. In operation, the 9075 caliber feels great as well, with a suitable tactile feedback as you are adjusting those different points, especially that local hour hand, and will also allow you to adjust the date both forward and backward. With the only rub for me being that if you are far off from the actual date, it might require a more tedious process for setting it. Now, we did test all of these models across 5 different positions. Looking at the lume dial variant, this one ran at +2 to +8 seconds per day, the blue dial variant -1 to +8 seconds per day, and the largest range of deviation coming from the root beer with +5 to +10 seconds per day. And while you can't take all of these metrics to the bank, it does go to show the potential of Miyota's calibers. I think a lot of people just think, okay, it's produced in Japan, it can't possibly run as well as an ETA 2824, and as you're seeing here, that is actually not the case, and I think these 9000 series calibers from Miyota are some of the most slept on and overlooked in the entire range of mechanical calibers available from a third party. In terms of general operation here, you're looking at 28,800 vibrations per hour, 4 Hertz. It does feature hacking and hand winding. Hacking stop in the second hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position, and a power reserve of 42 hours. All right, so now to unpack looking at the pros and cons, final considerations for looking at the Bulova Oceanographer GMT. Beginning with the cons, one I will mention is going to be the strap for the lume dial variant. I find to not be that great. I would much prefer to have this on a bracelet in comparison. I actually enjoy the bracelets with their fine drape. The clasp certainly could improve on them, but all in all, I do think those are way better companions than the strap in this instance. Also, for the positioning of this movement, because it is available to a third party now, you are going to see watches in this $700, $800 price range that are going to feature the same movement. So if you are somebody that is all about getting the cheapest watch, most affordable watch that has the caliber itself, and don't look at things beyond that, and it's just all about value for you, that could be also an issue. And then finally, I would say the lume on these watches are below the average to their contemporaries, specifically looking at, say, Seiko with some of their GMT watches that they've unveiled, like those Alpinist GMTs or other watches within the Diver Lux collection. But now shifting over to the pros, first I'll start off here with the history of this piece. Has some quirks, has a interesting design DNA that it's not going to be for everybody, but it is 100% their own. Now we are looking at this bicolor bezel, but who is not doing the bicolor bezel at this rate? This is perhaps the most shared idea in watch design for any GMT watch. Whether it's a true GMT or not, I think the true GMT function, since that has become more of a buzz phrase when looking at GMT movements, allows this one to separate even further. The case is very wearable on the wrist, and I would say for the vast majority of people, I think they made the right decision with the 41mm case compared to the larger case variant. And then to top it all off, solid water resistance. Despite this being a GMT watch, it still has that diving undertone and specification to back it up. Now, all in all, I think these are some of the better releases from Bulova in the last couple of years. And Bulova, I would argue, has been one of the brands in the last few years that have just completely changed how a lot of enthusiasts look at them. You look at some of the watches from 10 years ago, and quite frankly, most of them I would classify as mall watches. But now with watches like this, the Jetstar, the Lunar Pilot, now seeing updates there, the Hack watches, we're starting to see a new identity for this brand, and a brand that, quite frankly, deserves it. But all right, guys, thank you again so much for watching. That's all we have for this one. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Really would appreciate that, and it does help out the channel. Also, if you are interested in buying this watch, you can definitely check it out on TeddyBaldassarre.com. TeddyBaldassarre.com is an authorized dealer of over 30 brands, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. Also, how we're able to fund all of our productions here and on our main channel is through selling watches. So if you are in the market for a watch, we'd absolutely love to have your business. We know you can buy a watch pretty much anywhere nowadays, but it allows us to keep doing what we're doing, and we love what we do. But guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.